Hey friends, 1 minute. I gotta figure out if this test is true that can tell me how I'm gonna die based on my favorite color. Let's see if it's right. Avalanche. This one says it knows when I'm gonna get married based on my favorite fast food place. Ooh, and this one tells me if I'm gonna die alone or not. Wow. You know, I've noticed something, and that is that the internet is full of all these personality tests and random tests that tell you something about yourself that you didn't know before. BuzzFeed with all their weird tests that'll tell you how old you are, or Psychology Today ones that look really legit, that tell you all about your anxiety or your feelings or whatever, or your anger. And you know that Myers-Briggs 16 personality one, where everyone is has one personality type that just really defines everything that they are. Or just even the basic introvert or extrovert test. These things are literally everywhere. And if you haven't heard of any of them, well, apparently you're living under a rock, and congratulations for finding me then. You know, when I first saw these tests, I was like, wow, that's like pretty cool, you know, like this thing will tell you a little bit about yourself, like maybe why you act the way that you do sometimes, like that's pretty cool. But then like more and more started popping up, like I found something really, really annoying about them, and like you shouldn't have to take a random test online to figure out who you are as a person. Like, whether it's like introverts are superior, or why extroverts are taking up the world's space, or 10 things that you need to know and when you're friends with an introvert, and how to make extrovert and introvert marriages work. Why do we need these videos to tell us how to talk to people and deal with people? Why can't you just know them? Can't you figure out how to interact with a person enough instead of having to look it up and figure it out based on their introvert or extrovert personality types? It takes people and it puts them in these little groups, these little clubs, and it's like, oh, I'm INFJ, I'm ESTP, or whatever, and like it basically says like, oh, well, I act like this because of my personality type, and like I'm a nurturer because of my personality type, instead of being a nurturer because that's who you are, or being a teacher because that's who you are. Why do you need a test to tell you that? You know who I find really, really annoying in all this? Introverts, okay? Or at least everything I see on Pinterest, and I can't go through Pinterest anymore without seeing any of these. And like, you know, all I see is these woe is me, like, I'm an introvert, like, I'm so oppressed by the world because they don't understand who I am. They just think I'm a shy person, when all I really want to do is go and sit alone in my house and not talk to people. And I'm not antisocial, I just don't like being around people. Pal, okay, all these things I see are, you need to give introverts space, you need to let them be alone, you need to not push them to go out with people. But guess what? That's not even what the introvert, meaning is. All that introverts and extroverts are is introverts recharge their batteries by being alone, and extroverts recharge their batteries by being with people. Guess what? Hello, introverts. If you need to recharge your batteries, that means first you need to go out and use them. You can't just stay inside all the time and use the excuse that you're an introvert to not have to go outside. That's not how it works, okay? You can't just get a text and look at your phone and say, oh, I don't really like this person. Well, you know, maybe it's just because I'm an introvert so I don't need to respond. I don't even need to acknowledge the fact that they're trying to talk to me. No, You need to live in this life. You need to live in this world. You can't just hide. That's called being antisocial. That is past the point of being an introvert, okay? You have to go and do things. Please, don't just say that you're an introvert and then use that as an excuse to not have to go out and do things, because you need to. You need to initiate things. You can't just expect people to initiate things for you, okay? I'm going to be very clear here. I don't hate introverts. I don't hate extroverts. I don't hate anyone. I just don't like when people overuse all these personality tests to try and figure out who they are. But to me, that just points out the fact that they don't know who they are. Because if they can't figure out who they are outside of some tests that they find online, that's really sad. Or at least it seems really sad to me. So, I think it's more important to actually go and try and figure out who you are without looking at all these tests. And yes, they can be fun and silly and I want to know where I'm gonna get married based on what I ate for dinner last night, but ultimately, you can't know who you are based on a couple of answers that you put on some test that you found on the internet. That's not how it works, because you're more complicated than that. You're so much more interesting than some 80-question test. You are you, and no one else is you. No one else ever will be you. And so a personality test can't work on you, because no one has ever had your personality before, because you are so different than everyone ever. So embrace that and use that as a starting point to try and learn more about who you are by being with people, being without people. You can spend times alone. Sometimes you need that. But you can also spend times with people and going out and doing things one-on-one or in groups. And that's good too. Okay? But just go and do something with your time. Don't just sit and be alone and not do anything. At least if you're alone, do something with your time. And then come out and go and have fun. And don't get lost and bring back an adventure. Bye, guys.